You are listening to the FTWpodcast.com, where we talk about wrestling in all of its laughable glory. Here's a clip from this week's episode.
Eric Bischoff criticized the internet wrestling community. Hey, wait a minute. I'm a member of the internet wrestling community. Well, by golly, I'm upset.
Shut up, you're irrelevant.
Yeah, apparently I'm irrelevant. Loudly irrelevant. Quote, he says, seems like 90% of the audience loves what the loudest 10% hates. He wrote Wednesday on Twitter. So who really matters? The 10%ers. He thinks this is witty as hell because he used it like 18 times from now on. The 10%ers can't get over the fact that they are irrelevant. Ratings don't lie. Research doesn't lie. IWC smarks need to get over it. Are we wrong? Are we in the wrong for not liking what TNA is doing and being passionate about that? Scott?
TNA's doing stuff? I'm shocked TNA's even still in business. No, I think it's just Eric basically kind of popping off because he thinks he is pretty much a wrestling god, you know. And it's clear that TNA, they are making progress right now, but it's taken a long time for them to make at least a little bit of that progress. And this is basically his way of lashing out at the internet wrestling community, who is constantly telling him, hey, you're doing something wrong here. I think his numbers are extremely wrong when he says the 90% loving what the 10% hates. I think it's actually flipped around. And, I don't know, man. It's Bischoff being Bischoff.
The people who go to the Impact Zone every week to watch tapings, yeah, they love it because they're getting a free show. Everybody else has to wait for it, you know, they read spoilers or get to see it online or eventually on their television, and it sucks. I think even with Bischoff popping off about this, you know, attacking the internet wrestling community, I mean, one, do we have a site? Does the IWC have a site? If not, it should be the FTWpodcast.com. I'm just saying.
I love you, Joe.
Yeah,
I hated you before, but I love you now.
Exactly. But, you know, and even Hogan went off bitching at fans about not liking the product. I mean, he said his account got hacked and saying that the same fans that hate TNA are the same ones who caused the downfall of WCW by hating that one, too. Why do you quit doing the same fucking shit? I'm sorry, you fucking assholes. Seriously, Hogan, Bischoff, stop bitching about, oh, well, some people like it and you guys are just wrong. No. These are the people who have a brick in their head that it's just like, right. I mean, who do you think we are, Rob? No, I'm kidding, Rob. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, you tear into TNA just as much as we do.
Exactly, and which is what...
And the sad part is we all want TNA to succeed. It's not that we're just bashing to bash on TNA, but seriously, it's not. It's becoming less and less entertaining to me. Like, it's just so hard to watch sometimes. My girlfriend sees it on, she just leaves the room. It's, you know, we're WWE, she'll sit down and watch some of it and do stuff in the room, so she can kind of pick up on some of it. She cares about what happens at the pay-per-views. You know, we don't care about regular people don't care about TNA. It's just your storylines are not good. You're fucking it up. Listen to that vocal 10%, Bischoff. Jesus H Christ. I'm done.
Are you? Because the only thing I want to bring up is that he goes on about how the dirt sites and everything don't want to talk about the ratings, and he basically sounded off taking. As we were talking about in the pre-show, my tactic of using really large technical terms to make yourself sound smart. Anyway, I'm kind of explaining it and pointing out why he's both right and wrong in a blog post that I'm gonna put up later today, so you can check that out. Well, I gues later yesterday by the time you guys listen to this. Anyway, the only person on this show that is qualified to actually fire back at him on this point right here, the 10%ers thing, is Rob. Rob, take us out on this news story.
All right.
Keep in mind, you don't have the whole show.
I'll try.
Thank you. That's all I ask.
Note to Eric Bischoff. I'm being as we are all members of the internet wrestling community here on the podcast. I, like the other guys here, I'm more than willing to take up the banner of defense of the internet wrestling community and tell Eric, shut the fuck up. The problem is you. and the problem is Hulk Hogan. You've got a problem with the TNA fans, and you've had a problem with the TNA fans ever since Hulk Hogan came out on Impact, said that they got rid of the six-sided ring, and that any fan who liked the six-sided ring was, and I quote, stupid. And you wonder why some of your fans hate you. Jesus fucking H Christ, I wonder why. The problem is you forced TNA fans to choose. Either you liked what TNA did before, or you like what TNA's doing now. And TNA doesn't win that way. Hogan and Bischoff wanted to compete head-to-head against the WWE when nobody, even Hogan and Bischoff, knew that TNA wasn't ready. But we got to do it. No, you don't. You don't have to compete with the WWE. Wrestling fans are not necessarily chained to a particular wrestling company. I'm a WWE fan. I like to watch the WWE. I usually watch Raw. I don't always get to watch SmackDown. But but when my friends got me to watch TNA, I sat back. I said, "Hey, these guys do some cool stuff. This is something different. I can watch this and WWE at the same time. I don't have to do what I did back in the WCW days, switch back and forth from Nitro to Raw or Thunder to SmackDown. I could just sit. I could just sit and watch both programs. That's what TNA should be doing. There are so many different ways Bischoff could turn this around. I mentioned some of them in my own blog post, so I'm not going to go too into it here. But
Right.
Hogan and Bischoff, yes, they are doing some things right, finally. They are finally starting to dig themselves out of the trench they're in, but they are doing a lot wrong. And blaming other people for what you're doing wrong is not only unprofessional, it's fucking childish.
Right. Excellent points. So yeah, I mean that's basically how we feel. I don't know. Do want to print up a couple of live tweets that we got. One of them is someone saying on Twitter, TNA is trying to change things too much, too fast, and too late. Totally right there. And the other one is he's lucky if 5% of us. He's lucky if there's 5% of us that give a damn, which is another good point. I mean, I don't know why you would insult the most passionate members of your of your consumer group, but what do I know?
Well, you've heard our thoughts, but now we want to hear from you. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, and even join us live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. at the FTWpodcast.com.